see it, dude, tell me your brain cells off a few, and that is why I hate you.
What's up, everybody? I'm not talking over the music right now because I'm adding it in post, so I guess that's not gonna work. That's alright, I'll figure it out. No big deal.
And that is why I hate you.
So what's up, dude?
Same old shit, different day, still waiting for insurance, you know.
Okay, so you still haven't...
No, we just got the check back from the mortgage.
So are they now able to
start?
start?
It had to clear the bank.
Okay.
And then we were finally in talks with the construction worker.
Yeah, they can finally start working on your
And he's like, I'm going to
house.
get you back in your house as soon as possible, so we'll work on the roof. And then my mother-in-law brought up a good point that we should get somebody to check for black mold before we move back in.
Oh, yeah, you definitely want to get that checked out.
Yeah, so it's just like, God damn!
That would be your luck. You'd get the house repaired, and then like 6 months from now,
breathe.
you'd find out there's fucking mold in the walls and have to pull everything apart again.
Yep. Yesterday I visited the house because the tree did hit another air conditioner. It hit the air conditioner in my room, which is upstairs on the other wall. It's like it reached the other side of my house.
Well, it was right on the corner, so that kind of makes sense.
Well, no, it destroyed like a good chunk of the if you look at my house, the right side of my house.
No, but I mean, like, it kind of... It fell on, like,
yeah.
the back corner, so I could see branches, like, hitting other parts of the
I had
back.
to move the air conditioner. Stupidly, I've been so, like, tired and stressed, and I didn't want to move the air conditioner by myself because it's a big air conditioner. But I just said, screw it, I'm going to do it anyway.
Should have called me. I would have come down and helped you.
I could have, but I don't think about those things. I just like, man, I'll do things.
No, I know you feel. I'm the same way. I'm always like, I just want to get it done. I don't want to wait.
And I don't want to bother other people.
That's why men carry like 16 fucking bags from the car after they go shopping.
They cut off their circulation. Yeah. But anyway, so I go and do it, and I look, and I go, wait a minute. I get ready to unscrew it. I go, wait, the thing is open because apparently the tree hit where the air conditioner. There's those stretchy sides that close up.
And
that's open.
Close the gap.
I forgot what it is. Right. Like it looks like
it's like shutters.
A
almost.
Shutter. Yeah. It
I don't
was
know what they're
open.
called.
Like it was pushed open on the bottom. I guess it got knocked loose when it got hit by the tree.
Yeah.
And I'm like, wait. And I look over it, and on top of my Xbox box are nuts just chewed up all over.
This girl's just fucking
top.
chilling there.
Were we having critters just come into the
Wait,
house?
was the Xbox plugged in?
No, it was the box for my Xbox.
The box. Okay. I don't know. When you said box for your Xbox, for some reason, I thought you kept the Xbox. No, I heard you, but I thought you meant you kept your Xbox in another box.
Oh,
for some reason.
Hey, I heard you like boxes on your Xbox, so I put a box in your box.
I don't know. I don't know what my stupid fucking brain was thinking.
But no, it was just the box to my Xbox, and it was just covered in like the debris
little acorn
of nuts.
Shit and stuff. Yeah.
I'm like, what the fuck? So now I have to search my entire house to see if there's any squirrels or any kind of leftovers or droppings anywhere.
Did I ever tell you when I had my relapse, my OCD relapse?
No.
It was squirrels in the attic. That's what triggered it.
God.
I heard squirrels in the attic, and I just flipped the fuck out.
Like I love obsessively. You can
you can ask my wife. I flipped my shit. I was like, I have to get them out. And I like had a fucking breakdown because it was something I couldn't do anything about. Like that's where I always struggle.
That's where OCD kicks in.
Right. When I can't control it, that's where I struggle. And it was something that I can't do anything. Like I can't get them out of there. I don't know what I'm doing. Mm-hmm. It wasn't a big deal. Like I had my buddy's a pest control guy. I had him come out. He took care of everything. He closed off everywhere that they got in, but I flipped the fuck out. But anyway, so I know what you're feeling.
I didn't find any droppings or anything anywhere. And my wife was like, maybe it was mice, but they're not. There's no leavings. There's no droppings. And they brought stuff from outside into the house because we have no food or anything.
Well, I don't think they would leave like nut particles and stuff either, would they?
Berries and shit. Like they can leave berries as happened in my kid's room. But I didn't find anything else. So now I go to unscrew the air conditioner, I pull the air conditioner out, and a bunch of what looks like half translucent dead crickets fall down on top of me.
Ooh.
Because there was like a nest bred with a bunch of these things.
Yeah.
On the top half of the window. So when I jostled it, they just sprinkled down upon me. And mind you,
it's one of those instances where you're like, this just can't get worse.
I had just mowed the lawn. My lawn is a hill, so I'm sweaty.
You mowed your lawn? You're not even living there and you mowed it? I guess you gotta.
I gotta mow.
Well, by the time you move back in, it might be cold enough where
I
like
mowed
it's all
it twice
dead
already. Yeah, at this point. But I'm just like, I'm sweaty, and now I have like these weird cricket things. I didn't even want to look at them long enough to know what they were, but they look like crickets, and that's what I'm gonna stick with. Because if they're anything else, I'm gonna just lose my damn
They're
mind.
crickets. Just say they're crickets.
And I was just like, what the fuck is happening right now? And now I'm like, man, I do not want to tell my wife.
No, she'd flip out, wouldn't she?
We had critters just crawling into the house. And now I have to check almost every day to make sure they're not still in the house. And she's like, well, how can we catch it? And we only have sticky traps. I have no idea what we're going to do.
Well, what do you think? It's like
I think a squirrel came in, ate, and then left to go bring back more shit, and then I closed off their way to get back in the house.
I got a squirrel trap in my garage, so you can at least just stick it in the house just in case.
Okay, that's perfect.
Feel free to take it with you.
Fill it full of peanut butter or something.
Yeah, I put peanut butter on it and a couple crackers. Perfect bait.
Perfect.
Yeah, take it with you. It's right in the garage.
Just dealing with crap like that, I'm like, it's always something.
Well, it's like you already have bullshit, and then it's just more bullshit piled on top of it.
And so I was like, I got to
It's like fucking dominoes. They just keep knocking each other over.
Yeah, so I'm like, I got to take a shower. I head back to the house, and I'm getting looked at like I've been lazy and not doing anything all day. And I just jump into the pool. My kids don't want to go in.
Well, what are you supposed to be doing?
I don't fucking know.
What are you supposed to be doing?
I'm not living in my own house.
Right. I mean, what do you?
I watch the kids all day. I make sure they're fed. I try to do my laundry whenever I can. But I feel like I have to do something.
Well, what are you supposed to do though? I don't even
Some
understand.
of it's pressure from them. A lot of it's pressure from myself.
Well, what would they be pressuring you to do? I don't.
Not be a lazy.
What are you supposed to? It's not your house. What are you supposed to do?
I don't know. They get mad if I stay in the room away from everybody. They're mad if I'm in the way. I don't know.
I mean, like, if they're like, hey, could you empty the dishwasher? Sure, no problem. But, like, what are you supposed to just go around looking for something to do?
I never do it right. So.
Well, that's because you're a man. We don't know how to fill or empty dishwashers, apparently.
Or do.
That's what I've been told. I don't fill it correctly when I'm loading it.
So I just like my anxiety's been through the goddamn roof pretty much. And I know these sounds like small incidental things, but deal with small incidental things that and your house is also
it's not small incidental things. Your house is
storage space.
Your house is fucked, which is like enough to break anybody's brain. You're living with in-laws in a home with your family. Mm-hmm. That would break my fucking brain. And you're just being like strung along here on top of all the other shit you've got going on in your life and feelings you have and other shit you're doing.
And not to mention, my mother-in-law right now has been on prednisone. Do you know what prednisone does to mood swings?
Yeah, man, I was supposed to take it just a couple weeks ago, and I got a rash, and they told me to stop taking it.
That saved you.
I didn't know that. I did read that.
Major mood swings.
I did read it could give you mood swings, and I can't remember something specifically like being a dick. I forget what it was.
She like you would say one thing, and it's like she had to yell to force out whatever she was trying to say.
Yeah, that would drive me nuts,
bro. I'm like, God, this is the worst thing ever.
I don't know how I would deal. Like, my mother-in-law is very, very nice, but like everybody has mood swings. Like even without thinking about it, you know, you're gonna have I don't know, and you throw a medication in the mix too.
Yeah, just. I don't know. I understand now why people drink themselves into a stupor where they just don't give a shit about anything anybody says or does.
I've always said that if I start drinking, I'll never stop. That's why I don't drink. I'm pretty sure if I start, I'll just
the
never
full
stop.
Batman rule.
I'll do
it once and that's it.
I'll realize I'll be like,
drinking.
Oh wait, I don't give a shit about anything right now. This is a pleasant way to be.
Once a long time ago, even before my army days, I took ecstasy. And that's how I felt.
You made love to 37 women at once.
No, but I did cuddle and watch horror movies, which was awesome. But my thing is, I also didn't give a shit. That was the one thing about it. I did not give a shit. And it was like in a good way, where it's just like, man, I really want to sleep with this girl. But she doesn't want to, so it's okay.
So whatever.
I don't care. I'm not going to be upset. I'm not going to be upset about it. Psh.
I mean, I don't know why I'm saying this because it makes sense. I mean, I think we've talked about this. Maybe I don't know if I'm podcast now, but like your brain, everything in your brain is chemicals. Yeah. So you introduce chemicals, it's going to make weird shit happen.
Some kind of reaction.
But like, just like the first time I ever took a Xanax when it was prescribed to me, I was like, how is it? Because I was like super anxious, and all of a sudden I was just like, I don't care anymore. It's like, I cared so much about that thing and could not get it out of my head. And now I'm just like, I'm cool. It's not really a big deal. I was like, it's fucking crazy.
That's how it was on Valium, man.
Like, well, it's the same thing. Yeah. It's the same basic interaction there. I think they're in the same family. It's just like
just being peaceful.
Yeah.
Like being peaceful is such an alien concept.
It wasn't like even like well, we were talking about before the podcast. It wasn't even high. It was just like, I just feel peaceful. I don't care. Did I ever tell you about when I took too much caffeine? I told you about that, right?
Maybe.
But we went to the Outer Banks and we were driving home and I decided to leave at midnight and hadn't slept.
No, I don't think I've heard
I never told
you
this.
I don't think I've heard this story.
I'll go into depth with you about it later because I've sent this story into the Ice Cream Social podcast, and if anybody's listening and listen to Ice Cream Social, they already know this story. I'm mumbling, but yeah, we were coming back from the Outer Banks, and I was stupid. I was like, we're gonna leave at midnight so there's no traffic because it's like a 10-hour drive. And at like 4 in the morning, 5 in the morning, I was just dying. I could not keep my eyes open, so I stopped at a truck stop or gas station type thing, and I bought caffeine pills. Over the counter.
You bought caffeine pills.
I bought them over the counter.
Trucker
like
pills.
Yeah. But here's the problem. I'm driving. I took one and I'm like, all right. I'm still so fucking tired. So I took another. And then I just kept taking them. And I was like, why am I not waking up?
You didn't die. You are so lucky you didn't die.
Well, I think I looked it up. And like to overdose on caffeine, you have to take a fuck ton. But we ended up having to stop at a hotel in like Delaware, I think it was, and we got a hotel room and like I basically went in and was like, do you have any rooms available? And they were like, no. And I was like, I just need to sleep a few hours. And they're like, well, like we have rooms that are ready for somebody to check in at like 1 o'clock or whatever. You can check in now. We can let you stay till 11, and then but you only have like a few hour window and you got to pay full rate. And I was like, fine. And we stopped, and I couldn't fall asleep still. So when we got back in the car,
tired, but your body was
my
just
body
not.
wouldn't fall asleep. So then my wife ended up driving, and I was total dick the whole like 5 hours back. Like I kept yelling at her. I'm like, you're too close to the median. You're close. I was like, you're gonna crash. You're gonna like flipping out like a fucking maniac. And then we were
I would have fucking left you on the side of the road. I'm sorry.
We were coming down I-95, so it was gonna take us right through Philadelphia. And my wife's not crazy about driving the highway to begin with, but driving through a major city would have like
way worse.
So I like had to look, and I tried to rerouted her a different direction. It took us even longer to get home. But anyway, we got home. And I still couldn't sleep, and I was up at like for 48 hours or so at that point, and I went to the emergency room, and it was terrible. And they gave me shots of Ativan, too, one in each arm, and I was so fucking high. All I remember is, the only thing I really remember is, I got in the car and I was like, hey wife, why do they call him the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air? He should be the Fresh King of Bel-Air, because he's the king, he's like the best guy there, you know? And I said a bunch of crazy dumb shit, and I was totally toasted.
Part of me is happy I was not your friend when that happened. I would have gotten such stupid texts.
You definitely would have. It was scary. I was like freaking out that I couldn't fall asleep. Yeah, she was really mad. She was very mad.
I bet she was
and everybody I
pissed
told
off.
was like, you stupid fuck, you ate a bunch of caffeine pills from a gas station? What's wrong with you? And I realize now how unbelievably stupid that was.
I have tears in my eyes.
But yeah, point being, it's crazy that different things you take can just like completely change your personality and like who you are.
That's one thing I've learned from like early 2000s, late 90s movies was if you take something, don't think that, I don't feel it, I'm just going to take more. I realized from those movies alone, every bad situation comes from those.
You'd think I'd know better. Because like every movie, there's like somebody that like smokes a joint or like pops a pill and they're like, I'm not feeling it. And then they take another one and all of a sudden they're like tripping balls and like think they're flying to the moon and shit. You'd think I would have known, because you're right. Every freaking 90s movie, like teen 90s movie, had that same trope in
fucking
it.
character.
Every fucking time. I don't know.
Man.
I don't get it. Whatever. It's bullshit. All I know is now I got more medications to take because my cardiologist put me on a blood pressure medication. I'm really happy I got another thing to take, and now I have to take the hydroxychloroquine.
Well, because we're middle-aged in America.
Dude, when the doctor told me that I have to take the hydroxychloroquine, I almost started laughing. I was like, wait, the COVID like fucking fake drug that everybody said
it is an actual medication.
Well, at first I was like, wait, which one was that's ivermectin's the horse one. Okay, it's not the horse one. And it is. It's like I looked up. It's like, oh yeah, that's actually the normal course of treatment.
Yeah.
But in my head, I'm just like, that's what everybody was trying to take.
Because they were
to
also
get rid of
suggested
COVID.
together, so mixing them up is very easy. And hydrochloroquine just has that ring to it.
It's a weird name, but in my head, all I'm ever going to associate it with is like the fake COVID drug. You know what? I don't know. Maybe it did help. I don't know. I just know that everybody.
It does alleviate symptoms. I did hear that, but I never had to take it, so I don't know.
Right. I'm not speaking from experience. I just know there was a lot of media hubbub about how it was really helpful.
There was
and all
so
this
much
bullshit.
misinformation around that time.
Oh my god!
In all directions.
When I think back to COVID, I was
crap.
talking to my wife about this the other day. When I think back to COVID now and all the dumb shit, like I don't know why it came up, but I was just laughing about the vaccines because I'm just like, yeah, you remember when they told us to get the vaccine and it would keep you from getting COVID, and then it was like, take the vaccine and you won't. Most likely won't get it.
Feel the symptoms.
Oh, I know what it was. We were watching TV and they said something about breakthrough cases, and I was like, remember when that was a thing? When they're like, oh, it's a breakthrough case. It's like, and then everybody had breakthrough cases. I was like, it's not a breakthrough case anymore if everybody gets it.
Look, I've mentioned this before, and I don't know if I said it on the podcast, but like being in the military, I've never was afraid of vaccines. We got every vaccine in like one day.
Sure, and you have a choice, right?
They had to give us a bunch of vaccines, so I'm not afraid of vaccines. It was just the way it was advertised that kind of threw me off. I was like, you're pushing a little too hard, guys.
I'm not afraid of vaccines either, and I mean, like the people now that are talking about how all vaccines are terrible, I'm like, yeah, but like,
I think those people are piggybacking on people who are just skeptical of the COVID
They
vaccine.
They definitely are, because you got like RFK Jr. out there talking about how all vaccines are bad, and like he said something like, "What good have they ever done?" And I was like, "Well, did they eradicate a bunch of diseases in like over the last 100 years?" It's like, so they've done something.
Like the pros and cons weighed is just that. This pointed out a huge issue with, again, misinformation. Right. Yeah. It's just so easy to not be able to believe things, even if they are true. Because we're getting information from people we don't know, from far away. When people go, like, 5 out of 10 doctors, who are these fucking 5 doctors? I know that means half, by the way. But right. Like, who are these 5? Who are these 10 doctors? Like, you know who is a doctor? Dr. Kevorkian. He killed people for a living.
Well, they did. That's the joke with toothpaste. So he's 9 out of 10 dentists, and it's like, okay, first off, what 9 dentists? Like, did they just pay 9 dentists to say? And what the fuck happened with the 10th one?
Yeah, he was just like, nah.
What was his problem? Well, I want to know why he didn't like it.
Maybe he's the one that just went, well, maybe.
Maybe he's the only one that found out you put horse semen in the toothpaste. You know? We don't know. So what's the reasoning?
So
I don't know.
It's so fucking ridiculous.
But I was cracking up about breakthrough. I was like, remember when that was a thing, breakthrough cases?
The fact that even anecdotally, a lot of people will go, well, my one doctor says this about COVID, and then this doctor who I went to said something else, and they're completely against it or completely for it. It's like, holy shit, you're getting like opinions from people who should actually be consolidated in their belief.
You would think so, yeah.
Or a doctor who's like fully against it, and then the next year like completely change. Not even next year, next month, completely changes their opinion and act as if their opinion wasn't the way it was prior.
Well, I mean, look, there's a lot of shit that was wrong, and it is what it is. At the time, I don't. But these people that get on people's case, like, oh, you followed the instructions, or you did what they said, and that was wrong, and it was. Well, fuck you. Like, everybody was just trying to be a good person. Yeah, they were just trying to do what they thought was right at the time, regardless. So, fuck you if you're giving people shit about, like, oh, you took the vaccine. They said it wasn't going to prevent you.
Like, they weren't just trying to say. Well, people who do that, they think that you're trying to do it to save yourself. When there are a lot of people who would get vaccinated just so they didn't infect other people.
That was, I think, the primary purpose most people did. I think a lot of people got it with the idea of to try to protect others.
Now, mind you, the fact that the vaccine didn't stop that was the reason why I didn't get vaccinated.
Right.
Because I don't want to be a carrier, not know I don't have it, not know that I have it, and then give it to other people because I think I'm vaccinated.
I
didn't want to do that.
I was never judgmental of anyone that did or did not get it.
Exactly.
I never could. I did not care one way or another. If you wanted to get it, great. If you didn't want to get it, great. Because I'm not like, these fucking people. I think I've talked about it on the podcast before, like the people, one specific person, but that are like, my body, my choice when it comes to abortion, but you can't make me get the shot, or you're not allowed to, or vice versa.
No, yeah,
like,
you need to get the shot because my grandfather passed away. It's like, I get it.
You gotta be.
I absolutely get it.
You gotta be consistent, But anyway.
But also the misanthrope in me, kind of just like, but human population needs to go down. So I get it.
Oh, I say that all the time. I talk about that all the time. And every time I mention it, I just feel like I'm biting off of Bill Burr because that's been his thing for a while.
It was killing old people. Most of our fucking parliament is old people at this point. Our cabinets in our house, they're all old. Did you see Mitch McConnell at that meeting?
Which one?
The I think it was a current one. He just shut down. Like, he was talking, he was just like, and when we do this policy, and he just blanked out. And people walked up. Mind you, they didn't have somebody who turned down the mic so we didn't hear what everyone else was saying to him.
Yeah.
But like, come on, Mitch, let's just go in the back and lay down. Let's get you a doctor, Mitch. You need to leave the stage, Mitch.
All those fucking super old white dudes,
out.
they just need to age out.
You just, there's no age limit.
Eventually they'll age out. They'll all die eventually.
Take you?
Oh, right. We lost Adam Schlesinger, but we didn't lose you fuck.
Are you kidding me?
Of, did you see Bray Wyatt passed away?
No.
Bray Wyatt just last night passed away, heart attack. And I'm just to be very clear, this is probably bullshit, but I was seeing some things that were saying it was COVID related. It may just be people being assholes going like, oh, he's
trying to get some kind of
but apparently he had a heart attack. Passed 37 years old, man.
My God, there's a lot of younger people, people our age,
right,
that are just like passing away from like conditions that should not.
Yeah, it's
them.
fucking scary. It worries me, man. I start thinking about it. I'm like, oh,
I don't have a will set. You know what? Part of me, like, I want to do my will. I want to set up my will, but I'm afraid soon as I do it, it'll give like the universe the okay.
They're like, okay, all right, it's good, let's go.
Me.
Yeah, we only have one because they offered it through my wife's school district. Like all the teachers were they basically brought in lawyers and said all the teachers can come during this time period and set up a meeting to go over it. So we have like a really basic one done. You know what the hardest part was?
What? Trying
to figure out, because you're supposed to say like what you want to happen with your children. We were like, where the fuck do we leave them to? We couldn't think of anybody.
Holy shit, I think I'm stuck in that too, because I don't want to leave them with the grandparents and then have them pass away while they're...
Well, it wasn't even that. Like, we were like, all right, like my in-laws were like, we don't want them to have to worry about it, especially my brother-in-law who's autistic. They've got him to take care of. We're like, we don't want that. And it's like, my parents are divorced, right? So it's not like it's just my mom and my dad together that could... And we didn't like that. And I'm like, I don't really know. In fact, I feel like we put down a cousin of my wife... who we don't really care for, well, not care, we don't really talk to or have a relationship with any like really at all anymore. Yeah, maybe we need to change that. But that was the toughest thing, trying to figure that out. Yeah. It's
you
like,
know what? My wife and I have not even talked about it. I thought about it, and I'm sure she wants somebody on her side of the family. I only have my aunt.
Right.
And I just don't know how that conversation would go.
It's a shitty thing to think about.
It's a really shitty situation to think about.
I'm just hoping that it doesn't need to ever come up, and we're both.
Yeah, just. You both
let's be honest. I'm going first. Let's be honest. I'm just.
I don't know. You're too surly. Like, like you know how pickles last forever? Like it'll be like that.
Well, look at my grandmother, who's she's not doing well. I don't think she's got much longer left, but she's such a tough old bitch, man. She has hung on for so long, and she's had so many things come up where we were like, oh, this is it. And she just fucking, boom. She got COVID, like, right when COVID started. Mm-hmm. She was in the hospital, and they're like, basically like, yeah, this isn't looking good. And then she fucking pulled through. It was like,
beat it.
Oh my God, how the hell did she... I don't know.
That's when you reach old bat status.
Like,
really? You just call them an old bat.
Yeah,
because
really.
They're just fucking tough as
like,
nails.
She's literally in the hospital, and like she's got pneumonia now. And we're like basically like, all right, this is it. And we're like, oh my God, we can't even go see her because we're not allowed. And then like, no, a couple weeks later, all of a sudden she's going home.
Gotta take more than that to take me out, Sonny.
I have a hard time with it because she's terrified of death. She really is. She's in a situation now where she had.
How old is she again?
She's 90. She just turned 90.
Jesus.
So she's up there. I mean, she's lived a good long life.
No, this is the good time to go.
But this is getting a little dark on the podcast here. But it really bothers me because she's always told me. She's always said, well, everybody, but she's always said she'd rather She wants to die in her home. She doesn't want to go to some nursing home, and because she's seen it. Like my grandfather went to a nursing home, was there for years, had dementia, and died there, and was just not happy.
Yeah.
And she's seen her friends and stuff, and she didn't want that to happen. And now she's at the point where she had to go to a nursing home for rehab because she hurt herself.
Okay.
She's been in a nursing home. They've been doing blood transfusions for a long time to keep her blood cell count up, and it had been working, and it's not working now.
Yeah.
And it's kind of like, hey, this is it. Why don't you go home? My dad actually was like, hey, why don't we bring you home? You can go home, be comfortable there. And she's so terrified and so willing to just keep trying. She's actually staying at the nursing home and getting blood transfusions that she knows aren't going to do anything. And it's like such a tough thing because it's like you had wanted to be able to be in your house, and you may have weeks left, you might have months, we don't know, maybe a year, I don't know, but you wanted to be in your home, and you're so desperate to hang on that you're going to stay in the nursing home where you didn't want to be and get this treatment is not going to work because you're just hoping there's this tiny infinitesimal % chance that it's going to maybe do something.
See, my thing is again, I'm a big proponent of quality of life. If your quality of life goes down the shitter,
Agreed.
If you're going to live as a vegetable, then there's no point in living that long.
Same way. I don't ever want to be in that situation. I would much rather you pull the plug than have me live this really poor quality life.
But I feel like based on the ideas of, I think mine was squeaking too. Yeah, the young old people, which are like our parents. Right. I call them young old people.
Yeah, it's weird now, right? Isn't it? When we were kids, the people that are our age, we'd be like, "Oh, that's old." And now when I say old, I was with my mom somewhere a couple weeks ago. Oh, we were at Walmart or something. And I was like, there's a couple old people in front of us in line. And I was like, oh, they're her age. And I was like, oh, it's
younger old people, the ones that still have some color in their hair. That type.
Yes.
They I'm watching their minds, because I'm surrounded by them at this point.
You are.
And I'm just I'm looking at the way they're talking. I'm like, how in your 90s? Because my wife's grandfather survived. He was 88.
Right. This is the one that just passed away, right?
Just passed. He was blind, could barely walk, couldn't remember things, kind of alone because his wife had passed years prior.
Right.
So he still had family around him. So that's technically the quality of life thing is for him to judge. I'm not going to judge that for him.
Right.
But overall, I started to think, where was his mind at? Because in reference to, was it your grandmother? Your grandmother.
My grandmother. Yep.
She wants to live.
Fucking
but
chair.
Is it her being not logical but lucid enough?
She is
to understand. She can speak lucidly, but has she always been like that?
Yeah, no, she's
literally always been like that.
She's always been terrified of dying, and
because I don't know how well the brain handles lasting for that long.
No, it doesn't, but she's all there.
Okay.
She's got no deteroration mentally as far as dementia or not knowing what's going on. She's completely there.
Because our mental science is very new. We don't pay attention to the brain that much.
Not at all.
How much damage does your brain go through as it ages? Because you can see it in the skin, you can see it in your bones.
Yeah, it's got to be a lot.
Where's your mind at? Because we think once you're old, you're crazy.
Yeah. Oh, dude. I mean, one of the things that terrifies me the most is getting to the point where I'm not loose enough to make the decision and go, I don't want to live like this anymore.
Yeah.
That's terrifying to me. I know that there's a certain quality of life I want to have, and if I don't have that, I'm fine. I'm done. You pulled the plug on me. But the idea of getting to the point where my mind can't make that decision or tell or express that decision anymore is fucking terrifying.
Once I'm no longer able to play video games is when it's over for me.
That's a good way to go about it. I really I wish I could have a conversation with her though, because she's so scared, and in my head it's illogical to me, right? Because I'm okay, she's not super, but she's very religious.
Yeah.
So I guess in her mind she thinks she's gonna pass on, she's gonna go to heaven, and she's gonna be with God or whatever. So that should be a good thing. Or if you in my head, I think I die and that's it. I'm done. So there's no fear in my mind. I mean, I don't know when I'm facing
I get fear from that personally.
I have no fear because I'm when I'm dead, I'm dead. I'm gonna be gone. It's not gonna matter. It's gonna be before I was born. There's not gonna be any. I'm not gonna exist. So there's nothing to worry about.
Yeah.
I don't know if I'm going to feel that way when I'm at the moment where it's like I'm facing it.
Yeah,
I
but
hope,
logically right now to keep you going, that's where your mind is at.
I hope my mind stays the same, and I just am like, well, I guess it's time, but it won't matter. I'm going to be dead. But, like, I wish I could have a conversation with it and be like, you know, just go back to your house. Like, be comfortable. Like, there's nothing for you to be scared of. Like, you're either going to, you know, be in the next thing and be happy, or there's nothing.
Fear is illogical. Fear can be illogical. I won't say it is illogical.
In a lot of cases,
but it causes people to do a lot of illogical
Absolutely.
things.
But the problem is I can't have that conversation with her. I can't.
It's not. It's not your place.
It's not my place, and it wouldn't make a difference.
Yeah.
That's the thing.
Well, that's what I was going with. Like, is she just set in her ways at this point?
She is. I mean, she's been that way for a long time. She's willing to do anything to stay here.
For me, I think that might be not saying your grandmother, but people who are like that. As like there's a guy, Peter Nygaard, who's a whole thing I'm not going to get into, but he was obsessed with living forever. If he still is, so he was like paying for stem cell research.
Is this the guy that's like
he's a really
injecting blood of young people? And stuff
that's another guy.
That's a different guy. Okay,
who's the same way. It's like you're so afraid of aging and dying. Now I can understand being afraid of aging because how many times do you run into like, man, I used to be able to do this thing. I was able to eat all of this.
Dude, I'm running into that now.
Yeah, like nobody wants to age.
I'm running into it now where I'm just like, my body is falling apart, like literally. Like I'm having a hard time just fucking getting around anymore.
But the older I get, the more I realize like living forever is overrated. Like I don't
100.
want to be like a fucking vampire.
Me
you don't want to
neither.
know why vampires are villains? Because they're all fucking crazy.
Yeah,
they've been alive for way too fucking long.
What would you do for all that time? You get bored. Eventually, you're gonna be like, oh,
you're just used to living.
I've been here for 500 years. What the fuck? What else is there to do that I haven't already done?
Yeah, I just don't need that. There's people who live 40 years and outstayed their welcome.
Well, I know a few. I meet a few on a regular basis. There's many times where I go out in public and don't think to myself, why are you still here?
You're still breathing oxygen?
Oh my god! Just when we went to the amusement park while we were away, it wasn't like super crowded, but there's so many people there. I was just like, why are you alive? Why are you in
your
this?
wife was telling me about like hipster douchebags with like man buns.
Oh, dude,
like...
nonstop. My favorite was there's this the kids and my wife went on one of those like super spinny rides.
Yeah.
And I'm having enough problems with motion sickness and stuff. I was like, I'm not getting on that ride.
Yeah.
And I'm waiting, and there's a guy behind me, and there's this like life-size claw machine, like it's literally is like 6 feet tall with these giant things. And I see him trying to get this thing out of it, and he misses it, but he almost had it. And I went over, and I was like, oh, dude, you almost had that. I was like, you're going to get it this time. You're going to get it. And he's like, he moving it, and he's trying to get it. And he missed it again. I was like, oh, man. And he's like, oh, man. And he's like, I'm done. And I walk away, and I walk back to the ride. And like 2 minutes later, I turn around, and he was back at it again, trying to win the fucking thing.
You were talking to a man with a gambling addiction.
I know. But he's playing a claw game. I'm like, dude, you can't. You're not going to win. Speaking of, though, they had a claw game there where it was $10 to play, but you just play until you win. It took my son, who's 6 and not well coordinated, 2 tries to win. And I was like, that's how you know those fucking games are rigged as shit.
Yeah.
He paid the $10 to play until he wins, and it took him 2 fucking tries. Because that machine in particular, they didn't have rigged up to fucking make it fall every time.
Oh, fucking. The arcade here, in the mall here, my daughter and my son want to use play on the claw games every time. Like, listen to me. There's no point in doing
They don't get it, though.
Just I'll show you. They stopped asking me now.
Oh, really?
Because I was like, okay, we're gonna do it. I'm gonna give you a handful of tokens.
Yeah.
I bet you're not gonna get anything, and I'm gonna show you why. And as they're doing it, okay, you're perfectly over it. Yeah, go ahead, do it. Because my daughter is surprisingly, amazingly coordinated for her age.
Yep.
And she goes down, it hooks it, and then as it picks it up, that one claw lifts up.
Yeah.
Like, because there's no
right.
Holding
it's like literally like one of them is there's no tension.
One or both of them, yeah, and it just slides off.
Right.
And she's like, "Oh, I didn't get it." It's like, "No, you did get it.
You got it. They just fucked
Watch
you.
again. Do it again." And it's like, "It's not holding it." Went exactly, my daughter.
Well, so that was kind of genius that they had this machine in there that you play until you win for $10. Because I was like, I can just pay the $10 and let him win a stupid little stuffed
because it satisfies the stupid
right. Or he's gonna want to go play this other one until I spend $75 and he still hasn't won anything. So I was like, let me just pay the fucking $10 and let him win something and be like, yay, I did it. Of course, when we were getting ready to leave, he was like, I want to win another one. I was like, no, you already won one.
No, you fulfilled that. You're good.
But I probably spent, I don't even want to know, well over $100 at that thing. We were there for probably 2 hours. They probably played like 4 games. We walked away with those 2 stuffed animals and then some little bullshit, tchotchke toys from the tickets they won.
Oh my god.
Such a ripoff, but whatever. That's what you expect when you go in there. Let's see. How much time do you got?
What time is it? It is. I can keep going for a bit.
All right. So we'll get to our topic here shortly, but I want to talk about the guy. What the hell's the dude's name? Putin's buddy there.
I cannot pronounce his last name.
It's Prigozhin, something like that. So this is the dude that has the private army that Putin hired to go into Ukraine.
Ukraine, yeah.
And then like a few months ago, he was like, I'm going to take my whole private army and we're going to start marching towards the capital in Moscow and basically show Putin, fuck you. And then out of nowhere, they stopped.
Yep.
And they're like, turned around. Nobody knew why.
I remember hearing about that.
They were like, well, why did he stop? Like, he marched, I guess he came to some truce with Putin or something. And I was like, what is this motherfucker doing? He just basically pulled his dick out to Putin and he's like, just going to stop now and don't be... And here we go. A couple months later, he mysteriously dies in a plane explosion.
Yeah.
And everybody's like, I wonder what happened. And Putin was like, oh, he was a good leader.
Apparently, Biden commented by going, not surprised. Apparently.
Dude, if that's true, that is so good. That is so good.
It's just like,
but like,
that's even if he was and he's just too like brain dead to really react.
That's the perfect comment.
That's a good reaction.
That's the perfect comment.
The dude put himself in such a shit situation.
I laughed so hard when I read it because I was like, what did this motherfucker think was gonna happen? Yeah. I don't know. Like, I don't know anything about the detailed politics of that. I just think it's funny that this dude thought he could like I said, pull his dick out of Putin, and then thought he wasn't gonna get away with it.
Having brass balls, you honestly need to just follow through with whatever stupid fucking thing you're gonna do.
Yeah, if you're gonna start it, you better fucking finish it.
If you chicken out last minute, you are forever gonna be remembered.
It's just so funny to me because I was just like, what did he think was gonna happen? He thought Putin was gonna be like, it's okay, comrade. Let bygones be bygones.
I tried to kill you. You tried to kill me.
I know you tried to usurp my power, but it is okay. We'll be best friends now. Let's go play some hockey. I will score 15 goals against everybody.
I'll play Street Fighter. I'll play Zangief. Yes.
I will be Zangief. You can be Chun-Li. Okay?
Just so fucking stupid.
I don't know. It just cracked me up. I thought it was really funny when I saw the story.
Look, and you know what's so crazy? You know how we like to intake fucking breaking news or like any kind of information all the time nowadays.
Yes.
To the point that nobody gives a shit about a lot of things that happen outside of politics.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah.
I just or some kind of sex scandal is usually one or the other. Sometimes intertwined.
Yeah. often intertwined.
So I was watching another news thing, and somebody was talking about Ron DeSantis.
Well, they had the debate last night.
The debate, yeah. They were talking about that. I didn't follow it. I don't follow it.
I didn't either because I don't give a fuck what any of the Republican candidates have to say. I mean, I wouldn't have any... I
kind of do out of, material, but I don't care about what any of them have to say. None of them. I
don't care because there currently isn't any that I think would be a good candidate. That's why I don't care.
Okay, that makes sense.
I mean, who are the front runners? Trump, DeSantis, and Vivek. I can't pronounce his last name.
The Indian guy.
Yeah, and we know how I feel about Trump and how most people feel about Trump that don't support him. DeSantis is just... he's
a psychopath.
A little bit of... Yeah, I was going to say sociopath,
the reason why I brought him up is because they compared him to Patrick Bateman.
Oh boy,
from American Psycho.
That's good.
And the fact that they put side by side like character, I was like, holy shit.
Well,
I know that you could be manipulated into thinking things like that, but he has tics.
No,
he says some crazy.
Oh well, hold
shit.
on. Did I tell you? I'm gonna admit it again. I listened to another Tim Pool episode. Did I tell you this?
No.
His most recent, as of when I'm talking here, that I know of, it was two people. It was a supporter of Trump and a supporter of DeSantis debating against who should be the better
they were just
candidate.
making fun of each other the whole time.
2.5 hours. Not a single not a single positive point about their candidate. Not a single Trump would be the better president because he'll do this, or DeSantis. It was just the other will be a terrible candidate because of all these things. They didn't have a single good thing to say. But the woman that was there in favor of Trump kept saying that DeSantis has autism because she said it like on drive. She's like, Ron DeSantis is autistic. Ron DeSantis is autistic.
Okay, maybe an autistic would be a better president. Well, I don't know.
Well, that's why I was like, if he does have autism, he's not like he's a functional human being. Like, what is your anyway?
Well, the thing is, it's all become a circus. And here's the thing: I grew up thinking like Republicans were like very straightforward, suit and tie. Like they got business done, even if it was not in my favor. It was still they got business done. This is how they react.
Sure. Yeah.
Now they see after the Trump presidency. I mean, people made fun of like George W. Bush, but it still seemed like the Republican side were still business savvy, despite how silly.
Do you remember when we thought George W. Bush was dumb?
That's what I'm saying.
Like, that's crazy now.
But now
like,
all these other
we
guys,
thought he was dumb.
Fucking ridiculous.
People made all these jokes about how dumb he was, and then we ended up with these new guys, these new people, and we're like, oh my god, we didn't know how good we had it.
And the fact that they're all pushing these wacko narratives.
Yeah,
like DeSantis in Florida pushing that slaves benefited is fucking hilarious to me.
It's insane.
Like
it's
no.
The mental.
It's not insane that he believes it. It's insane that he actively said it without thinking that there was anything wrong with saying it.
Well, that's insane too. But there's only one of two things that are going on here. Either he's got the mental gymnastics, has the ability to do the mental gymnastics in his head to make that something okay to say, or he's just fucking nuts.
Well, knowing a lot of people from all over the fucking place, I know a lot of people who just generally would logically try to believe it. That would believe it. That would just believe that.
The idea that anybody could try to push themselves into this.
What I mean by they benefited was, they bred blacks into like being able to be football players and stuff like that, or they were a really precious commodity, so they wouldn't be mistreated. Like, that's bullshit.
No,
that is bullshit. But you know this. You could think that in your head and not say it out loud.
The way you
what you're saying is stupid.
Bend over to make yourself think that makes sense is insane. How can you can you hack your brain to make you think, yeah, that's okay, that makes sense? It's crazy.
Being disillusioned and not understanding or caring. Because you can just not give a shit. And not giving a shit allows you to believe a lot of stupid things.
I guess, but I cannot put myself in a place where I could find my way to convince myself of something that makes no fucking sense.
If he personally believed that, that's on him. I don't give a shit. He tried pushing that shit to be a thing in schools that are taught.
Well, we talked about how insane that is after battling against teaching critical race theory. We talked about the insanity of the hypocrisy.
Opposite. Right? Yeah, I didn't even know that was Ron DeSantis back when I mentioned.
That's absolute insanity. The hypocrisy of that of being like, well, we can't teach about this, but we could teach about this one when it's the same core.
So teaching that owning people was evil is worse than teaching people that the people who were owned were happy and okay with it.
Well, it's just like being like, we're going to teach the cause, but we're going to be selective about what effect we're going to teach is just fucking mind-boggling. But
I had a disagreement with somebody online about about slavery specifically. And
as a black man, did you start to comment with that?
I wish I did, but I didn't. I tried to be as professional as I could. I can't necessarily remember because of what they were saying was just going through over my head. Because they started saying stupid shit like, oh my god, now I just lost my train of thought. Ultimately, I had to. They was like they pulled the whole. Slavery wasn't new. It's not an American thing. It wasn't just white people doing it.
I love that excuse.
There was white people who were slaves. Or like, okay. First of all, we are talking about American slavery. We're not talking about slavery around the world.
Don't you love that somebody else did it, so it's okay?
Yeah. It doesn't make sense to me. Like, well, do you think it's okay to rape babies because
somebody else did it?
It used to be okay at this point, or is okay in this place? Is that what you're saying? Because then we should have never stopped. Because that's what early civilization used to fucking do.
People will come up with the most ridiculous and fucking insane things to justify what they want to.
But he said that's what he said, and went, look. most other cultures that enslaved other people either did it through a war kind of thing, or they still treated their slaves like people.
Sure. Yeah.
And I can't say like 100% everywhere, but I can say in most cases that you're probably talking about, that's what they're talking about. Especially if you're talking about Africa.
No, I think in general, you're like you said, it was either some sort of imperialism where they took over an area and then enslaved the people, or
But they were still people.
Right.
And you would have to search really hard to find.
Listen, in American history, we did give them 3/5 credit, all right?
That's what I'm saying. It was written in doctrine. That
they are equal to.
They're
I just pictured
barely fucking people.
I just picture some white dude with a fucking powdered wig on a whiteboard, on like a fucking chalkboard, like trying to figure out the math.
Compromise?
He's trying to figure out the math for it. Well, let's see how much a black man is equal.
He has like a white skull and an African skull.
He's doing
that he inked up to make sure he knew it was the black one.
Einstein's chalkboard, all these fucking notations and formulas all over, and then at the end it just got 3/5 circled real big. You know what's scary? You can't tell the difference between the trolls now and the people who really believe these.
And trolls are just going to keep going. Trolls are not going to stop.
Used to
but
be,
now
you'd
the
see
other
something
people are
like
doubling down, so they sound like trolls.
I guess, but you used to see that and just go, "Oh, it's a troll," and now you really don't know.
Nope.
You don't know if it's a troll or not. It's fucking frightening.
And so, and mind you, I could have been arguing with a troll, but he just. I don't know. And
I've
been having a bad time, so I needed to get some negative energy out.
Well, it's a good way to do it.
But I'm just like, are you specifically in America? They were not treated as people, and that's where the fucking problem comes in.
Like you said, it was written down.
So even when they were freed, guess what? They still weren't considered fucking people. And most people that complain about slavery are attaching not apartheid, but Jim Crow and segregation laws and all that bullshit after. Right. And then just all the bullshit that's come after. Again, what the fuck is wrong with you where you're just okay with it? And now we're arguing if Ron DeSantis is wrong for trying to teach kids the opposite of the thing he fought against.
It's not only that you're okay with it, you're like actively trying to avoid it and act like it's not a thing.
Look, the fact that Roe versus Wade was like overturned, which I don't. Again, that's a whole nother thing. But the fact that it was overturned kind of shows that you can bring back just about any archaic law.
Well, if you remember, I think it was Clarence Thomas in his dissenting opinion or whatever it was, in his notes or whatever on the case, he specifically said they should take a look back at gay marriage, about I forget, but a bunch of privacy related. But he did specifically exclude the one about interracial marriage because that would affect him.
Yes, because again, when no matter what race you are, when you become rich, that doesn't fucking matter anymore.
No, of course not.
If you're in the club, you're in the fucking club.
It's just, I don't know. But yeah, I don't have much. We just started with talking about the candidates.
No,
and I don't have as much interest in. The only thing that Vivek, the Vivek dude, I can't remember his last name. He's a fucking lunatic too. The only thing I will say about him, he's very open about the fact that he's a lunatic. Like he doesn't mince words. He's just like, I am a lunatic, and here are the crazy fucking things I believe. There are only two genders. The world is flat. I mean, I'm making that up, but he's not like, he doesn't beat around the bush. He's just like, here are the crazy fucking things I believe. So at least he's just putting it out there. He's not like pretending, trying to like make people think maybe he's not.
He's like an evil Indian Bernie Sanders.
Yeah, there you go. He's like the opposite. So I don't know. I mean, to be fair, if there were Democratic candidates, I don't know that there'd be anybody I wouldn't also say is fucking lunatic.
I don't even know who's on any kind of Democratic. Because the fact that Uncle Joe, like old Uncle Joe, that's what we called him during the last presidency, the last elections. When I actually paid attention, because we used to have parties. My friends and I would hang out and watch
the election results. Oh, the debates, okay.
And because they're funny, but every time Joe talked, we giggle. Not because we wanted him to win or anything, but just because he just sounded so fun. Like I thought he forgot where he was.
We're in America.
Oh, come on,
what you're trying to say.
I just dude.
Folks, we gotta do something about this. Where the fuck am I? Somebody have my juice.
Like, it's just so funny to me. It was just the fact that the older guy made more sense than he did.
I think the problem is because we have this disgusting two-party system where you have to pick one person that has one set of beliefs and just hope that like most of yours align with them. There's never gonna be a candidate where I'm just like, yeah, I'm on board with this person, because it just doesn't make sense. There's thousands and thousands of issues and things to consider, and the idea that you're gonna align with one of two, sets of those thousands of issues is just impossible. Doesn't make any sense.
The sheer fact that a kid in elementary school can hear about the voting, the way we do voting, their voting system, and go, wait, that doesn't make sense.
Yeah, no, it doesn't. No.
Wait, why is the Electoral College a thing?
Because Constitution.
I don't understand. Well, because back then, we don't need it back then. We have technology where we can literally see someone across the country.
Our reliance on laws that were written hundreds of years ago, when not just technology but life in general is gazillions of light years away from the way it was back then, and the fact that we're so unwilling to look at that and be like, yeah, maybe things should be changed a little bit because they don't really reflect the way the world is now. People are so fucking hung up on, and don't get me wrong, like there are good principles in the Constitution that just make sense wholeheartedly, but there are other things that are like, they don't make sense now. Like we have to adapt things, and people are so unwilling. They're like, this is the way. I mean, I guess it's not much different than the Bible, where people are looking at the Bible from fucking 2,000 years ago.
This is
what the Bible says. It was written 2,000 years ago.
It can't be wrong. It's again naturopaths that go like, there's these ancient methods hundreds of thousands of years ago. Our ancestors made it, and our ancestors lived to fucking 30.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
People got married when they were 12.
This not going to keep me alive long.
Well, I shouldn't say. Adult men got married to 12-year-old girls.
Yeah, again. But you know what? Speaking of old people, because I meant to mention this earlier, because it came to my head like last week, and I wanted to say something, but I went away. But the statement, respect your elders, which is an old fucking statement. Yeah. How old were those elders, do you think?
Yeah, not that old. They definitely wouldn't have been.
So they were more, like, they were they weren't crazy yet.
Right, yeah.
Our elders are old. I get respecting them, but they should not be people that we gauge our entire society on.
No, I mean, because again,
a lot of them are not coherent.
What do they say? Like when you're in your like the late teen, like 14 to a certain age, where you like develop your core personality. Yeah. Like, I mean,
middle school, the worst time.
If we look at our elders, well, we're talking about the old people. I mean, they developed their core values in like the 30s and 40s.
Yeah, most of us were alive longer than they.
Yeah, I mean, shit was a little different when they developed their core belief system.
They should be. The fact that you can be 90-something years old, still be a politician, not just enjoying the rest of your existence, is a terrifying notion.
Yeah,
why would you still want to be fucking working?
Why does Joe Biden want to be the president? I mean, I guess for him it was a lifelong goal, but he now has accomplished it. Why does he want to go 4 more years?
That's why he accomplished it and did nothing. That's exactly.
He's like, well, I did it. Time for a nap.
He just slept the entire presidency.
Jill, I'm gonna go take a nap. I'll be back later. Goodbye, folks.
All right, you got this, right, Camilla? Yeah, you got this.
Camilla?
I don't know Kamala Harris.
You got to say it the right way, or you're racist.
Fuck that.
You know, the hero from Miss Marvel is Kamala.
Kamala Khan.
That's Kamala.
Yeah.
Our vice president is Kamala, and god damn you if you say it wrong.
Spell the fucking same.
I mean, don't take into don't take into account the fact that it's usually pronounced Kamala or Kamala.
Kamala.
Yeah.
See, so now you're confusing yourself.
Usually it's pronounced Kamala.
Dr. Seuss.
And hers is Kamala, but if you say it wrong, you're a racist, okay? Caramella. Yeah, there you go. That works.
No, just
that lady who put a lot of people in jail for marijuana.
That's what I'm saying.
There you go.
Like, they're all fucking politicians. I don't give a fucking shit about any of them. Fuck Clarence Thomas. I fucking hate that guy. I've hated him for years. Fuck Joe Biden for getting Clarence Thomas off. Yeah, I remember that shit. Who was presiding over the Supreme Court? Joe Biden. Clarence Thomas fucked with a woman. And got away with it.
Well, come on, man. He's only the moral center of our nation, or one of 9.
I'm still hearing about Clarence Thomas. I was a fucking kid. Like, I'm sorry.
That was a long time ago.
It was a long fucking time ago.
How is he... Jesus, that dude's been around.
His dick doesn't work anymore. That's how old he is.
His dick,
he can barely pee.
He's got a colostomy bag.
Like, he should not even be around.
He's like, I gotta pee, and he just takes his little Ziploc. Okay, I'm done.
There we go. Empty.
Like
the fuck? Like, oh my god,
I could go on about this all day because it's frustrating.
Politics are everywhere. Look, even like two guys, when we talk, we don't ever really talk about politics. It's everywhere.
It's everywhere.
A thing to talk about.
And then because it didn't used to be everywhere. It used to just be like, okay, which old white guy is going to be the president now? And then Obama got elected and people got kind of excited. They're like, oh, it's not an old white guy.
In the wrong way.
And people started to get a little more excited and involved in politics on the left. They're like, this is cool. We got a black president. Yeah, thumbs up. Let's play basketball.
Yep. It's been a long time. I'm sorry, go on.
And then Trump got voted in and we turned it into this like sports event. Like
it's
where
too much
you're
like
rooting
the Warriors on the internet.
Yeah, now you're now you're rooting for your team. It's not like just which old guy's going to be in charge of the country.
That happened way before Trump.
Dude,
no, that was happening during like the first term of Obama. I know it was already happening before that. But...
Well, that's why I said like people started to get excited about politics,
okay,
but then Trump turned it into this fucking sporting event. Like I said, the idea of
it's
people...
a game of quips.
But
who can say the more soundbitey thing?
The idea of people having posters and flags of a president is
we have a meme president.
Nuts.
We had a meme president.
Yeah, but could you imagine 20 years ago people flying like Bush flags on their car like, yeah, George Bush is my president,
the sheer fucking
it's crazy
fact that I went to drive my kids over to someone's house, drove by a house that has this thing was probably as big as, maybe a little bit bigger than this room. A sign that in red and white lettering, Trump.
Oh, they're everywhere. When we literally, like 5 hours ago, we're driving home through rural New Jersey. And the amount of times my daughter went, oh, another Trump sign. Oh, another Trump flag. And I was like, well, we're in that area, dear.
It's just like, God, this is... Do you know what? I say it before, and I'm going to say it again. How pathetic you look.
It's just...
Like,
dick
riding someone who doesn't give a fuck about you.
Absolutely. Well, that's a whole nother story. But again, like just the idea that people have these flags flying from their porches like they would be flying like a New York Giants flag.
That's the thing. You're not
crazy.
Even rooting for Republicans. You're rooting just for this
guy.
For him.
Which, I hope it fractures the Republican Party, and then I hope
the rest of it follows.
Yeah, and then I hope the left gets fractured too with the centrists versus the ultimate lefts, and maybe eventually we have 4 choices instead of 2, and maybe it breaks more from there. I also think it's hilarious that Trump decided he didn't want to be in the debate. And I mean, let's be honest, it's because he's a fucking bitch.
Let's make an AI president.
There's no an AI president.
Let's just do it.
I mean, at this point, we could just go ask ChatGPT everything. Like,
tear off the Band-Aid.
Just
AI president.
Just have somebody that sits at a computer and anytime we make a decision, be like, should we nuke Russia? And ChatGPT will be like, blah 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 blah. Yeah, go ahead. And we'll be like, all right, world's over, I guess. Yeah. All right. I guess we can get into our topic.
It's time to begin the complaining.
So today we're going to just speak a little bit about bad parents.
Yeah.
I think that's it. I don't think we need a special name. It's just bad parents.
Bad parents.
And we're going to talk about bad parents because this past weekend, it was just this past weekend, right?
Yeah, it was just this past weekend.
Joaquin had a party for his children. It's a beautiful park nearby us, and it was a beautiful day. Everything was great. I mean, it was the sun was out, but it wasn't too hot. Nice breeze.
Surprisingly good day.
It's a gorgeous park. Lots of playground equipment, stuff for the kids. And man, oh man, were Joaquin and I the only parents walking around with our children, making sure not just our children. I mean, you were following around children of
I had
other.
To memorize a bunch of kids I've never seen before,
just to make sure they weren't getting themselves into trouble and we're okay.
The park was pretty big.
There had to have been 50, 60, 70 other kids there. Just completely.
Okay, so there's 1, 2, 3. There's 5 pavilions. There was a party in every pavilion.
Correct. Yes. Yep.
And one party was huge, big Indian family.
Yep.
So at least we could tell them apart. They were wearing actual Indian.
Yeah,
clothing.
they were wearing a traditional Indian garb.
Indian clothing. So that helped. But holy shit. There was a kid from one pavilion that punched my daughter.
Yes, he did. You almost chased after him. Joaquin started walking towards him, and then he stopped, and he was like, probably not a good idea for me to chase a child through a park. And I was like, yeah, you might want to hold off on that.
Because he just put, and my daughter took it, she was just like, okay.
Yeah,
and she
did.
chased him down. And he ran off.
Yeah.
But I blacked out for a second.
Well, there was that kid. There was when my son was trying to get on the little zip line
the little
thing.
kid that was just addicted on purpose.
There's a little kid that just would not get off. And my son, who is very impatient, a lot of times was saying, "Hey, it's my turn. Hey, it's my turn. Can I have a turn?" That kid went like 30 times, and he's just sitting there to the point where we were both like, "I think we need to go punch this kid." And I was worried that my son was going to punch the kid, and I was like, you know what? If he does, I'm going to let him. I'm going to let him.
Oh, that's what he wanted to see how his son would react because he's never seen his son that patient. I don't think.
No, I haven't. Well, and I was talking to Joaquin too with my kids lately. I've been trying to see how they resolve issues themselves rather than jumping in because I'm that kind of parent. We both are. Like I was saying, we're the type of parents that like to follow our kids around, make sure they're doing the right thing, make sure they're okay. And I always jump in for the most part, and I'm trying not to jump in because they have to learn how to resolve their own problems.
The earlier they learn how to handle,
especially with peers,
responsibly,
you know.
Yeah.
So
you're not there with them at school, so.
right. So I figured, all right, let's see how maybe he works this out. And he was just kind of like getting annoyed with the kid, and I did eventually. I had to yell, and I'd be like, "Yo, dude, how about you give him a turn?"
Yeah. No, I remember you said it. It was funny because you said a kind thing, but the venom in your voice, like, just came through a little bit. It could be because I know you. But
it could be.
Hey, maybe we share that a little bit, huh?
I'm a little capricious. I'm telling you. I was like having a great day, and then I just instantly was just like, hey, maybe it'd be a good idea to share, huh?
Yeah.
And he gave him like one turn and jumped right back on.
But luckily, your son, they started forming a line, the other kids, so they started getting off.
Yeah, but the amount of kids that were running around this park with no supervision.
It was phenomenal how many kids were there.
And it's a big park. It's not like it was like, you know, you could within what am I trying to say here?
Like you can't see from one side of the park.
Yeah, it's not like no matter where your kids are, you'll have an eye on them. Yeah. I mean, if your kid is on the other side of the park, you're not anywhere near them. You don't know where they are. I mean, when I got there, like your 2 minutes later, I was like, "Where'd my son go?" He just took off. We both like
searched around for him. Was like, "How is he so hard to find?"
And I mean, we're over there. I came and found you. You're sitting by the seesaws.
Oh, that's right. Because I was already watching the kids.
You're over there watching the kid on the seesaw because there's a bunch of kids on the seesaw. Some of them older kids trying to hurt the younger kids. Yeah. Nobody's paying attention except you.
and mind you, that's every parent at every pavilion.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I didn't see any parents that didn't have little bitty babies.
Yeah.
That were not watching their kids.
And again, there had to have been at least 50 kids there with no parents watching them.
It was ridiculous.
Just running around. I don't know. Maybe we're crazy. Maybe we're in the minority here.
I'm talking about like when I say little bitty babies, I mean like they probably just started walking.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
Other than that, like 3-year-olds, 4-year-olds running around by themselves. Yeah.
Nobody paying attention, seeing where they're going, making sure.
I had to try to remember the fact that I had to. We were at the farthest pavilion where you can't see anything, even if you're at the second part of the park.
Dude,
the fact that I looked at most of the parents and they're, mind you, I know it might be awkward, but when somebody says, "Hey, do you want some of the snacks?" a lot of parents go, "No thanks, no thanks," and then go straight to their phone.
Oh, absolutely.
I have my phone with me. I look down at it. I look at my kids. I look down at it. I look at my kids.
Well, I mean,
these people were just like
again. I got
phone.
there late, but for the 2 hours I was there with you, it was basically you and I were just walking around, making sure all the kids were okay the whole time we were there.
At one point, my brother-in-law started watching his kids. Your wife started watching the kids closer to the pavilion area.
Yep.
And then your wife and I walked around making sure the kids are safe. My wife was making sure the party wasn't like.
Oh no! Yeah, your wife was busy. She was taking care of the party stuff.
And her friend was helping her, but no one else was doing anything. And I don't expect other parents to do things, but I do expect you to watch your own fucking kid.
So I expect other parents to do things too, though. The amount of times I've run into a kid that's doing something they shouldn't be, like one of my kids, and the parents there just doesn't fucking do anything.
Yeah, okay.
Doesn't say anything.
No, that's different. That's an event. I mean, in general, even just knowing where your kid was. There was one lady, and she once in a while would check on her youngest child.
Right. Yeah.
Her daughter, which was around my daughter's age, didn't really look for her much. Right. But the youngest one, who was probably like 2 or 3, she'd walk out because she lost him at one point. She was like for an hour, she was not looking after her kid, and I didn't know who that kid was. So I didn't notice
my
him.
Fucking mind.
And then she looked for him for like 15 minutes, worried.
I can't help it.
I was looking for him.
Like I can't help it. I feel like I can't take because if they did, I would freak the fuck out if I missed them for a minute.
I couldn't imagine if one of my kids just disappeared. That's one.
Yeah.
That's just...
Especially now. I mean,
Yeah.
just the world sucks now.
And not even to goddamn mention being, like, throwing a party and a child goes missing at your party. How traumatizing that is for everybody there.
Absolutely. Well,
I wouldn't want to be responsible for that.
We might have talked about it on the podcast at the time, but I mean, when you had your daughter's party at the mall, and we had to wait in the food court to get in, and all those parents just dropped their fucking kids off
and left. The thing is, what happened this year was way better.
Oh
than
yeah,
then.
it was.
And
but
that pisses me off.
The idea of just like, again, we weren't in the place. We were in the food court waiting.
In the food court in a goddamn
in a mall, and they just drop their kids off. They're like, what, 4, 5, 6-year-old kids? Just drop them off with complete strangers. That's
outside.
right. There was a blizzard
It was
too.
a fucking blizzard, and they didn't go off in the other sides of the mall. They went everywhere.
They just
took
off.
Disappeared.
Just, I'm gonna drop my kid here
We've
with a
never
person
seen
I
your
don't
fucking
know.
kids before.
Yeah, I don't know you. There's a blizzard outside. I'm gonna just leave my kid here in the middle of the mall and walk away, and hope that you remember that this kid is supposed to be with you. Your wife said when we were talking about it the other day, like, she took some of the kids to the bathroom, was like, I have no idea if I've got all the kids coming back with me or not, or who I'm supposed to have.
It's fucking ridiculous.
Yeah, I don't understand it. I don't understand people's inability to, like, the most basic parenting skills. Just watch your kid, make sure they don't get hurt or die or disappear.
Yeah.
That's the most basic thing.
I fucking get it. Your kids are annoying as shit.
Oh, of course they are.
You want a break from them. Oh, I fucking get it. But I'm not that person to take care of your kids.
Dude, of course.
Technically, I am that person to take care of your kids because I don't want anything bad to happen to them.
Well,
but
no.
Fuck you for making me that person.
Yeah. Stop. Yeah, fuck you for putting the onus on him to do it. Yeah, I mean, kids drive. When we were at the... Did I already say we were in the Ferris wheel?
I don't know if you said on the podcast.
All right, yeah, well, we went to... yesterday, we went to the small amusement park when we were away. And we went on the Ferris wheel. And we got... Like, we went around a few times, but then after you go around a few times, now they got to unload. Mm-hmm. So we're kind of sitting, waiting while they unload 2 cars. Then we go a little further, and the kids were getting impatient. My son was really getting impatient, and my wife was freaking out. She was, like, not happy. She's like, I can't believe I was that, like, upset about being that high and just sitting there. She, like, really got nervous about it. Mm-hmm. And at first, I didn't know she was kidding, so, like, I started shaking it. And then I realized she was serious, and I was like, oh, I'm sorry. But then my son kept, like, bouncing. Yeah. He kept bouncing up and down, and I was like, buddy, you gotta stop. And again, it's my fault because I started it. And I was like, no, buddy, you gotta stop. And she was like getting really upset, like scared. Yeah. And he kept doing it. And I was like, buddy, if you don't stop doing that, I'm gonna throw you over the side of the Ferris wheel.
Oh my God!
And my daughter immediately started crying. She was like,
yeah, because you put that thought in your head, in her head.
Yeah, but I say stuff like that all the time, and they know better. They know I would never do anything like that.
I mean, okay, at any given time, you don't know your kids know that. Because kids...
They know that.
No. Deep down, your kids know that, but they can't process. They cannot process those thoughts. They're just like, that idea is scary. I'm gonna poop myself now.
I guess you're right. I mean, in my daughter's head, she knows I wouldn't do it, but I guess the idea or the thought of my son flying over the side and landing on a car
like,
down
for us
below.
It's funny because we know it's not gonna happen.
Right.
But for her, there's still a minute possibility.
Okay,
so
I
the
get
imagery is terrifying.
She's also a very emotional child, so she's. I guess I should have known better.
So at the party, your daughter hurt herself.
Wait, hold on.
Oh yeah,
before,
finish. Okay, yeah.
Just one.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Go on.
Before. When we were getting ready to get off the Ferris wheel, we were about to get in line, and I was like, I'm gonna leave somebody a gift, and I just ripped a fork on the seat. I was laughing so hard, and then the next people were coming. I was like, "Enjoy your trip."
I know people can't
my
see
wife
my
looked at me
right
like
now.
she hated my guts. I was just like,
the non-surprise yet the disappointment I have.
It was so funny.
It's grand.
It was so funny.
Oh
I was
God.
laughing so hard. I made myself laugh so hard.
You're laughing so hard now. You are beat red.
Dude, it was so funny. Come on, man. I'm just sitting there. I'm like, I'm going to leave the next person surprise.
Oh, my God.
Anyway, my daughter hurt herself at the party.
At the party. And Matt had to leave for a second. So I was sitting there with the kids. They were all playing on the seesaws again. And one of the kids jumped really hard, and apparently his daughter doesn't understand with a seesaw you don't put your feet under the seat, and this is old metal seesaws.
To be fair, I don't know that she's ever been on that kind of seesaw at all before.
Yeah, maybe she hasn't.
There's one at another playground near us, but it's not that kind. It's a different.
Well, I'm
type
not making
of
fun of your daughter. I'm just saying she did not know.
No, I know you're not. But
those seats hit the ground. They go bang,
right.
hit hard.
No, I'm just saying. In fairness, I know you weren't making fun of her. I'm just saying. In fairness, I don't think she's ever been on one like that to even know better.
Well, she put her foot under and it scraped the skin off of her Achilles tendon.
Right. Yep.
I've never heard this girl scream before, but she screamed.
She's not happy with that stuff. She doesn't like getting hurt. She
was like shaking and was like, "Oh my god!" So I put on my dad face. I walked over. I picked her up, and it was my daughter. She was playing with my daughter.
Right.
And my daughter was like, "She's mad at me." I don't. She's hurt right now. Just give her a second.
Oh yeah, no, she wasn't mad.
And so I sat your daughter down and I'm talking to her. And she's like, no, don't want to look at it. I don't want to look at it. I don't want to look at it. Like, I've never heard a child. Like, she sounds like an old woman.
That's the way she is. She's not good with that stuff. I don't want to
look at it. So
she does not like the sight of blood. Oh.
I took her sandal. I know she was wearing. I think she was wearing a sandal with a back on it. So
yes.
I had to pull it off the back, and there was just skin, no blood.
Right.
So I just peeled the skin off without her knowing.
Yeah.
And I told my daughter, go get the first aid kit, because my wife thinks ahead. And she got like Neil.
Yeah, she had everything. Well, it was funny because when I got there, I saw her running. Yeah. And I was like, "What is she running for? Where is she going?" And I heard a kid crying. I was like, "Is that a kid?" And then I looked over and it was a kid in the parking lot. And I was like, "No, that's not why she's running. Where is she going?"
So, but yeah, my wife's neuroses, like that was her. I need to have this. I need to have this. You know what?
No, I was smart. She was on top of it.
Because I wouldn't have thought of it.
No, me neither. No, it was very smart.
I'm like, I have your daughter's foot up, and she just starts bullshitting with me. And like, I've never had this long of a conversation with your daughter before.
Yeah.
But she is totally your kid.
Oh, she's 100% my kid.
Like, oh my god.
In like every way.
Yeah, like she's just a sassy girl version of you.
I know, and it like parts of me make myself feel bad because I'm like, some of the stuff's genetic, but not all of it.
Well, because it doesn't help that she kind of looks like you.
Well, she does, yes.
When I was talking to her, I felt comfortable, like we're talking right now. Where it's just like, yeah.
I'm definitely.
No, they are really stupid. Like, I just didn't curse.
I'm definitely corrupting her a little bit.
I was just like.
Turning it.
It was just so funny. Because you just. Like, the way. And the drop of a dime when I said there's no blood when she stopped.
Yeah.
I was like.
She was good?
Oh, yeah. She's fine.
I don't know
what
just wanted
a Band-Aid.
Sometimes she'll come up and she'll just be like, I think my nose is bleeding, like freaking out. I said that calmly, but she'll be freaking out. I'm like, it's not bleeding. You're fine. She's like, I think it is.
See, there's a long distance between your daughter and my daughter. My daughter threw a tantrum so bad that she got a nosebleed once. Like, I mean, like, it was just flowing. Yeah. And we're trying to stop it from bleeding, but she's fighting. And she's like, no, and she starts huffing her blood at us. There's a major difference between your daughter and my daughter.
Well, yeah,
because she was mad.
Yeah, but what's weird to me is, like, I feel like my son and your daughter are more alike, and your son and my daughter are more alike.
Yeah, I see that.
Like, your son and my daughter are much more reserved, kind of chill.
Can play with themselves. Yeah. And just do,
like, your daughter and my son are both just, like, personalities. Like, they have personalities.
Yeah.
You know?
And, like, they'll do anything to alleviate any kind of frustration.
Right. Yeah. They've got big personalities.
Yeah.
Definitely. Although, I gotta say,
I find that's a very nice way of saying that they're assholes. I get it. Like,
no,
no, they can be assholes. I'll be honest.
I know what you mean. I know what you mean.
Your son is a sweet kid. And I think my daughter, deep down, is a very sweet kid.
Yeah, oh yeah.
Honestly, like, you don't have to dig far. They care about people and stuff like that.
They absolutely can, but they can flip that switch and turn into assholes just like that.
And
absolutely,
like, you would be good in corporate environment.
I know, right? I do like, though, our daughters seem to be, like, bonding more now and getting along and, like, chatting and hanging out now.
Roblox, I prefer, if they're playing Roblox, I love
it's nice, though. Like, it makes me, like, really happy now when she's, like, I hear her and she's playing with her and they're playing with each other and stuff.
I think it's now that they're older.
It is. But, like, they're, like, bonding now. And I'm like,
my daughter's been getting into really, like, girly things now, so she she wants to do makeup all the goddamn time.
Oh, well, she had it on the other day when she came over.
And
I said to her, and because she said, I forget what she said to me when she walked in. I was like, "Oh, you have makeup on," and she was like, "No, she's like, that's not it." I forget what it was that she was trying to get me to notice, but
yeah, she's like, seeing that development is kind of crazy, but. I've never had an extended conversation with your daughter, but I figured I'd talk to her to keep her calm, and it worked. But she reminded me so much of you that I didn't have a problem talking to her.
She's a chatterbox. She will not shut the fuck up if you let her. Like, she'll just keep going on and on and on and on about
Well, that's your wife.
Well, that she gets that from her. Yes, it's funny because when my wife was a child, her dad's side of the family is French, so her grandmother's French, and they called her Tatooine, which means chatterbox.
No.
So that's what they said, but they call my daughter now. They call her Tatooine. She's a chatterbox.
Huh.
I might be saying that. I feel like I'm saying Tatooine like Star Wars.
I was thinking about Star Wars,
but it's something like that.
Tatooine.
Tatooine.
I did not know that was...
I'll have to ask my wife later. But yeah, I don't. I don't understand. Like I said, like doing the bare minimum as a parent. I just don't get it. It's one thing if you're just like not going to be a good parent in general and play with your kids and like just show them.
Affection and
not even affection, just interest. Like show them you care about them. You're interested in what's going on in their lives. But it's another to just completely ignore them and just be like, I don't give a fuck what they're doing at that age. It's fucking crazy to me.
I was just having a conversation with a parent. We were talking about our kids.
Yeah.
And I mentioned how my son is into all the shit that I was into as a kid, which is awesome.
It is awesome
because my dad, all we had were Batman. That's all we had to bond with. But my son, like, we played the same video games. We have the similar sense of humor. So it just kind of works. And she looked at me, she goes, out of my kids, I don't have the same interests as any of them. My oldest daughter just started getting into books, and that's what we're into.
Right.
But we don't have anything. I was like, I can't really imagine. Like, even my daughter, some of the things I have an interest in.
Sure, yeah.
But...
I mean, it's hard because, like, I mean, we're so old now.
Yeah.
When we were kids, things were like so much different. But there's still those like my kids like games, not just video games, but board games.
Yeah.
My daughter likes to read. They're both really into music. Like so, like there's those shared interests that we have. But yeah, it would be weird to have a kid that you just have no shared interest with at all, and just like it's just like this little stranger in your house.
I knew. As soon as first of all, after I made sure that both of my kids' first word was Batman. And I made sure that fucking happened.
Well done. Well done.
And he doesn't even have to be their favorite superhero. It was just a thing for me. But I knew my son was like hands down like that's my boy. That's my motherfucking boy. Is when he wanted to see Terminator 2. And
that was recently. That wasn't that long ago. Was it?
And was into RoboCop.
We were just talking about that.
The fact that this whole year he's been obsessed with Predator. And I'm just like, these are the things that, when I was young, I shouldn't have been watching these movies.
No.
But I did.
Right.
And I love them. And the fact that my son, like, I'm not going to show him the movies out of respect for my wife until he's older, but I can't wait. I just can't fucking wait.
See, you should hang out with my daughter because she loves horror shit. She's obsessed with horror shit. And like I was telling you before, I told you the other day, it's so weird because she can't stand the sight of blood, but she loves horror shit. So like she's obsessed with horror shit. I
like things like the SCP Foundation, which you probably don't know about, but it's like it's like pretty much it's an online collective story like thing that people have been doing for years, and it's more science fiction-y, but it has a lot of horror in it. And so there's a show on YouTube called Dr. Bob that reads out SCP stories and kind of crudely draws them.
Okay.
And my kids fucking love it, and so that's what I play in the car to keep us all busy.
I'll send a link so I can check it out.
Because I like it, but it's digestible enough for them to watch.
See, and
it feeds that need for all of us. Because I think we all like horror stuff. My wife is like the only one who doesn't. I
like horror, but I like psychological horror. I don't like the like gory, over the top, like creepy horror. I like fuck with your head.
Yeah. I'm not a gore hound, but I like otherworldly and I like body horror.
Like Event Horizon.
I love Event Horizon.
Like that's my favorite horror movie because it's not because it's super gory, you're really jump scary. It's just fucks with your head so bad. You should see The Void. Have I seen The Void?
Maybe. A cop goes to a hospital.
Oh no, I don't think I've seen it.
Okay, yeah, a cop goes to a hospital and like dead at night because somebody was shot or wounded or something like that.
Right.
And then these two thieves come in trying to kill someone.
Okay, yeah.
And then all of a sudden there's these cultists outside of the hospital keeping everybody inside.
See, that I could get into something like that, but that's the kind of horror I like.
Like Hellraiser. That's what I like. So I love psychological, but I love all kinds of horror. Body horror is about my favorite, like Videodrome and stuff like that.
I love
Cronenberg stuff.
I'm down with horror novels. I'm down with like then I don't care. Yeah. Like I'm good with gory,
as long as in written form.
Right.
Yeah.
And it's not that like it appalls me or like I get grossed out by movies. It's just not something that appeals
movies
to me.
like people like Saw. I like Saw.
I liked the first Saw.
I kind of like Saw for the mystery portion, but not for the horror portion. People liked Hostel. I didn't like Hostel because it's just gore. I'm not.
Well, that's what Saw turned into. It was just all about the gory traps that were set and how fucked up way can we think to kill somebody.
Yeah.
And I actually would rather have it in my head than see it. Like the horror novels I read where they describe the crazy fucked up shit that's going on, I'm hearing it I'm seeing it in my head and like hearing the sounds and shit, and it's much better than when I'm just watching a movie and it's like, all right, it's right in front of me.
There's a movie, I don't remember it, but I remember the scene, and I remember seeing the whole thing, but when I saw it later on in life, I realized that the scene never happened.
Oh, so when you were a kid, you're thinking that you saw this.
That I saw the whole thing. It was pretty much this guy. He was like over a sink with his hands on the back of his head, and he was breathing really hard. It pans back, and you see he has open scissors lodged into the faucet, and he's gonna slam his head down onto the scissors.
You want to see a magic trick?
The scene cuts before he slams his own head down on it.
And it's almost worse?
But that stuck with me. I thought I saw it. That scene was never shot where he slams his head into it. But the fact that
it's worse because you got it in your head
and you don't see him do it sticks with me.
Yeah,
and that was way worse than most of the things I've seen.
I mean, some of the books I've read, I can still remember the scenes in it of the fucked up shit they were doing in the book. And I got the scene in my head just because it's in my head. Like my head my own brain designed what that was like going on. When I was, I still read a lot of horror books, but there's a couple authors I loved, and I read every horror book they wrote, so I kind of ran out.
See, I curse myself with horror stuff because I can't get into a horror book, but I like horror short stories, and so I used to read a lot of creepypastas, and you could get really good stuff and absolute garbage.
Yeah, creepypasta's known for garbage.
Yeah, but there are some that are just so good. Some psychological ones, like Pen Pals, is a really good one. That's basically a novelette. Baraska is a really good one, but it's more psychological.
You're going to have to text me a few because I'm always adding stuff to my list to read. I don't have a lot of horror on there now.
I know good ones. I know bad ones. Since I'm not super judgmental about stuff like that, it doesn't bother me so much.
You're okay if it's semi-shitty?
Yeah, because I watch shitty horror movies. Like, I know, and I like anthologies, so sometimes it's really bad.
Yeah, some shitty horror movies are good.
And they have, like, a good story in there.
Some of them are good. I mean, sometimes, like, it's fun that it's that bad. I mean... Some of the cult horror movies that are out there, people like them because they're so bad.
Yeah, the worst it can be is boring.
Right.
And so, like, that's the thing with, like, bonding with my kids. Like, my daughter, I'll probably never get to watch horror movies with her, but we, like, probably watch sci-fi stuff. My son, I have a feeling he's totally gonna be into that. And he's like a sensitive little kid, so it's kind of funny.
It is funny. He already is in all the stuff you are. Like, I think he just wants to be you.
I hope not.
He just idolizes you.
Way better.
He's your kid. He's supposed to idolize you. I think he just idolizes you and just wants to like what you like.
Yeah, him and I are super excited. Well, we're both super excited for MK1 because Mortal Kombat, I think, is the thing.
I gotta be honest, I'm not a huge. I haven't been in the series in a while. Yeah. I'm kind of excited for MK1 too. I've been watching all the fatalities out of them,
they look so
and
good.
they're just so good.
Like when the reptile trailer. When I saw that,
I don't think I've seen the reptile one yet.
The reptile trailer, they made him so good. Like
I'll have to watch it later.
Smoke is my favorite ninja, so they added Smoke into it. I was just.
I watched like maybe a week ago. It was an IGN video of all of the fatalities that had been released up to that point.
Okay.
Yeah. And they were all just so
Johnny
good.
Johnny Cage looks really good. His fatality.
They're so good, except Kano. Kano, the one they showed Kano was the same heart rip.
Well, because he's not.
He's not
a playable character.
Oh, it's just secondary character.
Yeah, he's a cameo. Okay. So he's going to be like an add-on. He's probably not even going to be in the story.
Got it. Okay. Yeah, some of them were really good. I was like, they've done so many of these games and they've come up with some really fucked up fatalities. And somehow they came up with even more fucking crazy shit.
Dude, the sheer fact that they went more, like, even thematically, they're going more like shout. Like, it's still going to have the grittiness of Mortal Kombat, but it's like a martial arts film.
Yeah.
I kind of
looks good.
am happy to see that. Like, it's treated it's treated like a martial arts film, and I'm perfectly fine with that.
I'm totally fine with that. I just finally started. I'm gonna go back through and watch all the old '80s martial arts films I loved. I just started watching.
Doing that too.
I started watching Police Story with Jackie Chan. My first starter because I think I'm gonna do Jackie Chan first because when I was like 20, 21, 20, like in that early 20s. I was so obsessed. I had every one of Jackie Chan's early films, all of his Asian films dubbed over. And I'm going to go through and watch them again. And then all the Chuck Norris ones, like the Delta Force ones, the Missing in Action ones. They're so good. They're just so good. And I was watching Police Story, and I was like thinking to myself, it was so much better when they just actually blew all this shit up than just CGI'd it. Like, they make it look more robust, I guess, when they do it via CGI.
Well, because they also have to pay more attention, like, when they do it. No, not now, but back then, because you only get one shot,
right? But I'm watching, like, the opening scene is him driving this car down a hill, just crashing into all these different buildings, and there's shit blowing up, and it's just, I'm like, it's so much better to watch them actually do that than have it all be CGI with CGI explosions.
Yeah.
Again, I know, like, the CGI stuff they make look way more robust and huge. I was like, but it's just better knowing it really exploded. You know?
I feel like the marriage between the two is probably the best way to go about it. You save some money, you fix a few things, but you still have practical effects in it.
Well, I mean, I guess like some of the practical effects stuff doesn't, like, it looks, you can tell, like, you're like looking at it and you're like, okay, that's a practical effect, you know, it's a little campy. Honestly, I prefer it than a fake but more realistic looking CGI.
I agree.
Set. I was just watching that and just the whole movie. I didn't finish it. I think I watched like half of it. But just going through the whole thing, I'm like, it's just watching this and knowing like this is all real sets and not green screen shit makes it so much better to me. It's just better. It's just better.
I mean, that's why I like the...
Maybe I'm old. I don't know. I mean, I am old, but...
That's, The Raid Redemption. Like, that's one of my favorite martial arts films.
Which one? Who was in that?
It's Indonesian martial arts film.
I don't know if I've ever seen that one.
Watch it. The Raid Redemption.
All right, I'll check it out.
And the Raid 2. They're basically one after the
I'll
other.
add to my list. I'm gonna go, like I said, I think I'm gonna go through all the. I'm not gonna watch like fucking Rush Hour and stuff. Yeah. I'm gonna go through all Jackie Chan's like Chinese produced.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll watch Rumble in the Bronx because that was fucking great too. But I'm gonna go through his.
I used to love that movie.
Who Am I? Who Am I is my all-time favorite Jackie Chan movie.
Dude!
If not my favorite, one of my favorite movies of all time.
I love that fucking movie.
I have it on DVD behind you.
That TIE fight on the fucking roof,
dude, it's amazing.
So good.
He's
such a good fight.
He has a new movie coming out, which I'm sure is not going to be as good as his old stuff. But I'm going to watch it. But I got rid of like all of my DVDs and shit. I went and donated them all. I kept Who Am I? It's still back there because I couldn't get rid of it because it's so good.
On the show, we just solidified our friendship even more,
dude. We should just watch it
because
if you get time this weekend, we should watch Who Am I.
Absolutely.
Oh yeah, that was easily my favorite one. I loved Who Am I.
Good.
Drunken Master was really good too.
That's a classic.
But Who Am I is just an all-around good movie. Not only is it a great martial arts movie, but just the story's good. Everything about it is it's so good.
Dude, I don't even remember the movie. I remember how it made me feel.
It's so good.
I remember certain scenes, and the last time I saw it as a kid, so anytime it came up on HBO, I watched it completely. Like anytime I saw it.
Yeah.
Like that's how much I know I love that movie. So
the Chuck Norris, I mean, he obviously does.
I was never a big fan of Chuck Norris.
He does martial arts, but I like the Chuck Norris movies more because of all the guns and blowing shit up. Because it was who the hell's in Delta Force? It's him and Lee. What the hell's the guy's name?
Brandon Lee?
No, it's Lee Majors.
Okay.
Him and Lee Majors in the Delta Force movies, it's just rocket launchers and guns, and they're just blowing shit up.
Yeah, I'm never a big Chuck Norris fan.
I mean, I'm not a fan of him now because he's crazy, but his movies in the 80s were good.
Only Chuck Norris movie, which is not a Chuck Norris movie, I ever really watched was Sidekicks.
I don't know. I don't think I ever saw Sidekicks.
This kid who's like...
That's why.
He has like asthma.
He
has like super asthma.
Yeah, all I watched were his action movies in the 80s. They were just so over the top ridiculous.
Hold on, I gotta explain this movie now. It's about a kid with super asthma. Because he's so asthmatic.
Was he in the World Trade Center during 9/11? How did he get super asthma?
I don't know. They treat asthma like it's literally like the worst fucking thing in the world. And being a kid who had asthma, that's like my hero. But he would also daydream about being Chuck Norris' sidekick. So Chuck Norris would show up throughout the movie. And I think his brother directed the movie. Yes. And he was always like friends with Chuck Norris, and then he would like daydream about his teacher being the girl that he keeps saving.
Of course.
And then
crush on his teacher. Why not?
And then it switched to like this girl that was really nice to him. And then he meets this.
At least that was probably age appropriate.
Right? And then he meets oh man, what's his name? He did the voice of he was in Avatar. I can't remember.
The old dude?
Yeah.
The bad guy? Yeah.
Zuko's uncle. Uncle Iroh. He played Iroh's voice.
I don't remember.
He passed away, unfortunately. He was a really good voice actor and really good actor. He was also in the second Conan movie. He was the witch doctor. But
yep, no idea. Can't remember.
I'm gonna say it after this podcast is over.
That's okay.
Crazy.
People at home listening are screaming it right now.
Yeah, but he plays a cook who also is a martial artist. So it's basically like Karate Kid, and he teaches this kid martial arts, and it defeats his asthma.
I mean, that's the cure, as we all know.
And then he joins a tournament, and Chuck Norris is a judge, and it's just
like in Dodgeball.
It's so ridiculous. I think that's where the joke came from, to be 100%
wait, that
honest.
movie came out after Dodgeball?
Yeah, no, this movie came out before Dodgeball.
Oh, okay.
Sidekicks was way before Dodgeball.
Oh, you mean the Dodgeball joke?
The joke from Dodgeball.
Got it, okay.
But please tell me that you know that wasn't the original ending of Dodgeball, right?
What was the original ending?
Them throwing Chuck Norris in was because they screened the original ending and people didn't like it, so they redid it to make it as ridiculous as possible.
Oh, well, that makes sense.
That's why
I'm okay
Ben
with that.
Stiller's character was bitching at people.
Dude, while I was at the shore, I saw a dude that looked just like Pirate Steve. Looked just like him. He had the bandana and the long white hair and like a weird kind of piratey shirt. I almost called him Pirate Steve. I should have.
You had to bite your tongue on that one.
Okay, just to wrap things up and go back to parents really quick. I got two things. First off, I had to explain the World Trade Center, which I just mentioned to my daughter the other day. Well, I over-explain everything. When my daughter asks about something, I just tell her, and I like go on and on. I explained everything about the World Trade Center, and she asked me a million questions, and I explained everything to her. But I don't know if I told you this, but maybe my wife told you this. She asked me what sex was the other day. Did I tell you that?
Mm-mm.
I didn't tell you that?
No, I've been waiting for this moment.
Okay, so I was watching Law and Order, I think, maybe. Okay. And I think there was a witness on the stand, and the defense attorney or something, whoever, one of them was like, and you've had sex with the defendant, right? And then she was like, well, yes. She's like, and how many times have you had sex? And then my daughter was like, what's sex? And I went, oh. My wife was there too, and she just looked at me, and I was like,
she deferred it to you with her eyes.
No, she's not deferred. She looked at me like, look what you've done.
Oh, she was gauging. Okay.
She looked at me like, look what you've done.
Yep.
And then probably part of it was like, don't you dare tell her. don't go. And I was stuck. I always am very open, and I've told myself I'm just gonna tell her, like when she.
Yeah, but then you were in the moment.
But I didn't know what to do, so I was just like, you know what, I'll talk to you about it later. Yeah. And she didn't ask again later, so I got kind of saved. But it made me think. My wife was like, no, you're not explaining, because I'm dead serious. To me, I was just like, I guess I'll just tell her. I'll just explain to her that you have a vagina and men have penises.
For me, it was been as simple as, it's what parents do to have a kid.
See, thank you. So that's because I'm a stupid asshole. So I actually posted on the Scoop group, the ice cream social group, and I was like, hey, I'm just curious. And that was what most people said. They're like, just keep it simple. Just that is how that is the way a mommy and a daddy make a baby or something. And then if she asks more, fine.
See, I always defer to, it's going to be hard to explain. When you're older, it's easier to explain it to you. And sometimes that works with my kids.
Why does my mind go to, well, I guess I'll just tell her where the penis goes?
Because you're a very simple man. Not in the simple as in stupid.
I guess.
Just like things are very simple and straightforward in your head. So you just go with that route.
But my mind goes straight to, I guess I got to explain this whole thing to her. Everybody else's mind...
a social battering ram.
Everybody else's mind just went to, just give her the most simplest explanation possible and go from there. If she asks for more information, you figure it out from there.
You have foot and mouth disease.
I guess. I don't know. But I feel like if she asks about things, I want to explain them thoroughly. But I guess is that an appropriate thing for an 8-year-old to learn about or not? So here are the things my wife said, no, I don't want you to tell her anything. Yes. I don't want you to explain it to her. And she was like, what if she goes to school and she tells those kids? Yeah. And I was like, well, what if she goes to school and those kids start telling her stuff and it's not right?
Look, I remember being in kindergarten having conversations about sex. Very ill-informed conversations about
of course.
sex.
And my parents never had to talk with me about any of it.
I didn't get to talk until...
I don't think any kids our age really got it.
I didn't get to talk until 3 years after I had already had sex.
Oh, you told me that before.
My dad's explanation was bullshit.
Yes, you did tell me that.
Okay,
You might have actually told it on the podcast.
Maybe I did.
But either way,
It was just,
I don't know
God.
because she
It was years after. I can't say 3 years.
But she said, like, you know, you want to be the one that explains to a parent that our daughter told them what it was, and I was like, what are they gonna do? Complain that my daughter told them some factual information?
Yeah.
It's like,
well, it's weird. Okay, so my in-laws, my sister-in-law, is a oh man, what are they?
healthy
Midwife. She's a midwife.
Okay.
She's a midwife, and she's super open about her kids. She's given birth in front of her kids in a pool in their house.
I mean, it's strange to me, but I guess it's not
Like
whatever.
like
if that's what you want to do,
her
whatever.
older daughters put their hands in the birthing water. That kind of.
It's still a little weird
too
to me,
open.
but
I think it's too open.
It's a little
For
weird to
that's
me,
too
but
open. That's a little too
I
open.
agree. But
That's
I can.
her household. Her kids are great.
That's where I am.
Her kids are great, but
Fine. That's fine for her.
the fact that these girls are in their teens and they mention sex in front of me makes me uncomfortable. But I get it.
But they're
Not
in their
mentioning
teens.
having sex, just because again, that's just something that makes me uncomfortable. That's not me.
I'm with you.
But these kids are still well-rounded. I have a feeling it's the way it's approached, how honest your relationship is with your parent, with the child, between the child and the parent.
Yeah, that's true.
And should always come from the parent.
That was actually an argument I had with somebody that was in the group discussing it, because they were saying, like, well, wouldn't you rather your daughter be the one giving out correct information to those kids than her getting incorrect information? And, you know, if the parents shouldn't have a problem with it, because the parents should be telling their kids about, and that's what I said. I said, yeah, they should be telling their kids about it, but it's not my place to make that happen.
Now, here's where
or
the
my
issue
daughter's
comes
place
in,
to make
is
that happen.
when they start saying things, because kids diarrhea of the mouth too.
Sure. Yeah.
It does create problems. So it's a matter of, do you want to put up with this problem? Your wife doesn't want to put up with that problem.
No, she does not.
And especially being a teacher, that could be an issue for her.
Well, yeah, and that's the difference between us. Some parent called me and was like, you know, I almost said her name. Your daughter came in to school today, and she told my daughter all about sex and this and that, and I'd have been like, yeah, and
So what you do in your house doesn't. You bringing stuff in your house to mine. I didn't. Your kids were talking.
Well, my point would, if they were like, well, she shouldn't be teaching mine, I'd been like, whose fault is it? Well, maybe you should have told your own kid, fucker. Sorry.
Yeah.
She's going to learn about it somewhere. Would you rather go on fucking Pornhub and figure it out there? Or would you rather get real information?
Look,
like, I would have no problem. Like, if a parent called me to complain, I'd just be like, yeah, fuck you. You should have told him, I guess.
If my parents had an open and honest
What'd you want me to do, to lie to my kid?
with me about it, I think I would have been better off.
Yeah, I would have too. I mean,
Like,
I don't like the idea.
More emotionally stable.
Agreed. I mean, I don't think I have any unhealthy things going on in terms of that particular. I can't even say it, so apparently I do have some unhealthy things going on.
Well, that's what I'm saying. We all do, because none of us been raised with a healthy sexual relationship.
Well, and I guess that's why in my head I'm like,
Especially,
I just want to just be honest and have the conversation and be like, look, this is how it is. This is what it's about.
That your wife has to be nervous about it because of the ripple effect is the problem all in itself, not just the sheer fact that your child says it and embarrasses you.
I also think that she's competent enough where I could say, like, hey, this is a conversation we're having. This is an information you share with other people. And I don't think she would.
No, I don't think she would either.
But anyway.
But kids can forget. Kids can get in a conversation, get excited.
That's true.
Like,
That's true.
have this information you might not know. I'm helping you out.
But the ripple's like, I don't give a fuck. Like, if she went and told another kid, well, she went and told another kid. That's what's going to happen anyway.
Yeah, it's just, that's the thing.
But I got a reprieve because she didn't ask me that night later. So.
I also think it's a side, not a side effect, but a part of the whole, village to raise a child thing that we don't do anymore.
Right. We've talked about this quite a few, not on podcasts, but we've talked about this between us.
We should be able to trust one another to help raise our kids in a healthier way, and we just don't. We think our kids are our kids, as in our property, not our responsibility.
No, and like you, my brothers, my in-laws, my parents, I'm glad that they're comfortable, that you guys are all comfortable talking to my kids as if they're your own, and like being okay with being like, hey, you're not supposed to do that or whatever.
I would have been
because the parents that it's bad I keep hitting my hand on this fucking
That's
thing. It's bad enough that there are parents out there, like I was talking about earlier, that just don't fucking do anything.
Yeah.
And they let their kids do what they want, and they'll see a kid go over and shit on another kid and not fucking... That kid that punched your daughter, I would not be surprised if the parent was within distance and saw it and just didn't bother doing anything. So that's bad enough. But the fact that like there are other parents that aren't willing to intervene and like be like, hey kid, you're doing the wrong thing here. Like, hey, you can't fucking... Like while we were at the park, kids that are doing fucking stupid stuff, being able to just not being mean or rude, just being saying, hey,
action.
You really shouldn't be doing that.
Yeah.
It's just reminded me now. That fucking coin, that little whatever it is, that funnel thing.
My nephew, mind you, prefaces, my nephew's autistic.
Yes, but that's important to this story.
Yeah.
The fact that there's 4 or 5 or 6 fucking kids trying to fill this fucking thing up with dirt and mulch and bottles to block it so that when it rains, the water won't drain out of it. And your nephew, who's autistic, is going, what the fuck are they doing?
Yeah.
You're going to block it. That's not right. And he's trying to keep them from doing a stupid fucking thing. And was it his father, I guess?
Yeah, my brother-in-law.
Your brother-in-law has to stop his son from going over and pointing out to these kids that they're being fucking morons. Was just... It hurt my head. It hurt my head to watch. To be like, this guy has to go over and tell his autistic son that he shouldn't be stopping these other
kids do this bad thing.
he should let these kids do this stupid fucking thing because little boys in particular love to go and do stupid shit and fuck shit up.
Yep.
But like, it was hurting my head that he has to go and tell this kid, like, you know that it's the wrong thing to do, but you're not allowed to go and stop them.
Fucking stopping them.
Yes, because
mind you, these kids are not even only under it; they're on top of it.
Right.
There's like 3 kids on top, 1 kid underneath.
Look,
and they're rocking the thing, filling it with
right.
Oh my God.
But and look. In the long run, is it a big deal? No, it's not a big deal. It's going to be filled with shit. Somebody will clean it out. One of the park, whatever. But the fact that your nephew, right?
Yeah,
your nephew knows in his head. He's like, that's not what you're supposed to be doing. You kids are being assholes, and your brother-in-law has to stop him and say like, no, you can't do that.
Yeah.
It just pissed me off so much because he should be allowed to be over there and be like, hey, you dumb fucks, stop doing this.
There's a difference
the world is fucked. The world is fucked.
There's a difference between right and wrong in survival, and unfortunately survival leans towards the many that no matter what stupid thing
we've got 6 fucking kids with their parents not telling them, hey, stop being an asshole. And then we got your brother-in-law telling your nephew who's doing the right thing to stop doing what he's doing.
Yep.
That in a nutshell is the problem I have with bad parents.
You summed that up perfectly.
Yeah, drives me crazy. So I guess this would be the point where I play the jingle for the website. So I'll put that in here around now. ATIWIHY.com. Guys, if you could, hey man, go send us an email. You can use the website. You can email podcast@atiwihy.com. We also have a phone number that I don't have handy right now to leave us a voicemail. You know what? I'm gonna pull it up. I'm gonna pull that up so that I can put it on the podcast and not be a total dildo here and make you go look for it. So I'm just gonna keep talking and pretending that I'm not looking it up while I'm talking to you. Leave us a voicemail, 929-564-4262. You can call and leave a voicemail that we will play on the air and then respond to. If you got any bad parent stories, share them with us. Any stupid kid stories, share them with us. Or if you just want to call and say hi and give us your thoughts on somebody that, makes you go, and that is why I hate you. Do it. We love it. I think it would be good content. I'm totally stealing that from Nicholas Newman that runs Newman the podcast. But it's a great idea and it makes for good content. So
that's a backhanded compliment. Nice shout out, buddy.
How is that a backhanded
compliment? I should have said backhanded shout out.
Oh yeah, no. I don't know if I mentioned it to you. Newman the podcast.
Nope.
Dude is great because he reminds me of us. Like a lot of times on his podcast, he does it beautifully. I'm gonna shout him out more here. It's a 30-minute podcast. He splits it up into little 4 or 5 minute segments, and he basically just talks about something that happened, and a lot of times he's just bitching about some dumbass he encountered or some stupid thing that happened, and it just makes me go, dude, we got to have him on the podcast because he could come on here and just bitch with us. Newman the podcast, go check it out if you don't, or like I said, shoot us an email, leave us a voicemail. We love to get them. I'm not gonna plug anything else. I think that's enough.
Nope, that's all.
So this is the point where I will play the outro music.
So just take care of yourself, I guess.
Yeah, take care of yourself, guys. Thanks for listening. We will talk to you soon. Oh, and then at the end, I've got to go pee.